Hey, all back again with me. Today I will summarize the romantic drama film entitled Cruel Intentions. Cruel Intentions is a 1999 American teen romantic drama film about a rich young man who is obsessed with his stepsister. This young man really wants to make love to his half-brother, so they bet, if he wins, he can make love to her. Let's get straight to the point. The film starts with a rich high school boy named Sebastian, who is undergoing psychological therapy for being too addicted to sexuality. Instead of therapy, Sebastian is actually stimulated by his psychology. After Sebastian leaves, suddenly daughter the psychologist called and said that his nude photos spread on the internet. And it turned out that the one who spread the photo was Sebastian. The psychologist was chazzing Sebastian. Sebastian went with a girl he just met. Amazing, he is the king of bullshit. Next we are introduced to Catherine, Sebastian's stepsister. Catherine is labeled as a good child in the role model at school. Cecil and her mother comes to ask for tips and tricks how to be a good child. Suddenly, Sebastian comes and greets Cecil's mother by shouting in her ear because she feels uncomfortable with Sebastian being labeled a bad boy and infidel. Cecil and her mother finally left the house after it was seen that Catherine was also a bad girl like Sebastian. And Catherine also said that she hated Cecil so much because Catherine's boyfriend cheated on her. So Catherine wanted to take revenge. She ordered Sebastian to sleep with Cecil. So the seal was branded bad girl by people, but Sebastian refuses and says he doesn't want to have sex with Cecil because getting Cecil is very easy to get. Challenge: Sebastian also looks at a magazine that once took a photo with a girl named Annette. She is known as a smart girl, diligent and idle, the daughter of the principal, and doesn't want to make love before marriage. Sebastian also feels more satisfied if he can make love with the net because it can increase his fame level. Hearing even Catherine doubts Sebastian, Sebastian finds it even more challenging to invite Catherine to bed, where Sebastian fails to make love with Annette, then Sebastian's favorite luxury car will belong to Catherine. But if Sebastian succeeds fuck with Annette, Sebastian can also fuck with his stepsisters. And better yet, Sebastian can stab him anywhere. Then, Sebastian goes to his aunt's house. It turns out that his aunt is the arrival of guests, and his aunt says, "Annette will take us here for a week." Sebastian is very happy and soon started Annette, but it turns out that they're Sebastian's new reputation as a bad boy who feels rejected. Sebastian is increasingly challenged by Annette's cold attitude. She is also curious who has revealed her secret. On the other hand, Cecile is studying music with her teacher named Ronald. Instead of teaching, Ronald was really horny with Cecile. Suddenly Catherine came and Ronald was shocked. Then he left the place. Then Sebastian came to his gay friend asking who spread his secret. His friend also suspected Greg, and it was his best friend, but it wasn't Greg who spread Sebastian's secret. After Sebastian, Fred and Greg find out, we finally know that the one who will lead the secret is Cecil's mother. On the other hand, Catherine is relaxing with Cecil. From here, Catherine knows that Cecil also likes her music teacher, Ronald. When at home, Sebastian is very emotional because annoyed with Cecil's mother. He finally cooperated with Catherine to bring down Cecil and his mother. The next day, Sebastian and Catherine carried out their mission by reporting to Cecil's mother about Ronald's love story. And Cecil's mother was angry and immediately took Ronald to the elevator. Ronald met Sebastian and Catherine, who gave him this. Cecile also loves him. Ronald was told to write a letter of love to Cecil, then Sebastian took the letter to Cecil. Sebastian was even aroused and intends to fuck Cecil. Sebastian immediately kissed Cecile, but it was not her lips, but stayed under the stomach. The next day they're told Sebastian and Annette to go to the nursing home. After returning from the nursing home and know that Sebastian is so bored there that she cheers Sebastian all the way home. Entertainment from the end can make Sebastian laugh, and this is where they feel love for the first time. On the other side, Cecil tells the story. Earlier night, Sebastian wrote a letter with his tongue until it felt like it was going to explode. But Catherine instead said that what Cecile did was right and would make Cecile a real woman. Catherine also told Cecile to practice sleeping with Sebastian so that later it wouldn't make Ronald disappointed when making love with her. The next day, Sebastian observes Annette. Catherine comes and reminds her of a bet they did here that Sebastian assured Catherine that he would not lose. Sebastian approached Annette and immediately kissed her, apparently Annette also wanted to be kissed by Sebastian, but suddenly Itching changed his mind and immediately pushes Sebastian, so they fight at night. Sebastian starts to give up, getting who says he wants to say goodbye and away, but she suddenly inside instead locks the door, then opens his shirt, then tells Sebastian to make love with her. But whatever the change is mind Sebastian ran, because he was able to sleep with Annette the next day and turned out to have left his aunt's house to move to a friend's house. After learning about a debt from Greg, Sebastian finally found out Annette was still at the station. Then he followed her and told them that in fact she had been the first time fell in love with Annette. And apparently Annette also fell in love with him, and finally they made love, and this is the first time for Annette. Sebastian has won a stake, then Sebastian returns home. Sebastian wants to ask a little to make love to his stepsister. Sebastian instead she makes love sound from the room Catherine. After entering the room, it turns out that Catherine is alone. But when the drawer under the bed is opened, it turns out that Ronald has just finished making love with Catherine, so Ronald leaves there because he is ashamed. Catherine is still not satisfied here, so he tells Sebastian to make love to him, but now Sebastian is disgusted with Catherine. So she leaves him and Catherine gets very angry. Catherine keeps trying to ask for sex with Sebastian. But Catherine sees Sebastian calling Tinley with Annette. Catherine who sees her annoyed, but she says that Sebastian's reputation will be ruined if he dates Annette. Catherine also threatens to tell her that about the state heard of Catherine's threats. Sebastian laughs to tell Annette herself. He said that he never loved her and did everything just because of a bet that she had to make love to him, and who felt hurt and drove Sebastian back to his house and met Catherine. He said that he had broken up with Annette, so it was time for Catherine to make love to Sebastian. But apparently Catherine didn't want to do it, because from the start, Catherine had planned all this to use Sebastian to screw Cecile. Not only Sebastian, even Ronald, Cecile's mother was only considered a toy by Catherine. Catherine also says that Sebastian is very stupid because he left his first love just because he is afraid of losing his reputation. Then Sebastian goes to the Annette, but she doesn't want to meet him since Sebastian gave her a letter and a diary. It contains all the girls who have made love to him. The next day, Catherine calls Ronald by phone and says that Sebastian sleeps with Cecile. Ronald again angry allies and goes looking for Sebastian. Ronald finally manages to find Sebastian and beats him immediately. Turns out, Annette also follows Sebastian. So she wants to separate the fight. But Annette's bad luck was instead thrown into the middle of the road and almost hit by car. Sebastian immediately pushed Annette. And finally, Sebastian was hit by a car and now he is dying. Before Sebastian died, he had said that he loved Annette on the first day of school. All students commemorate Sebastian's death. Catherine made a speech here as the seat of student council and Sebastian's stepsisters. Suddenly a student came and distributed books which made one by one the students leave them. Catherine was annoyed and curious, so she also came out. It turned out that everyone was reading Sebastian's diary, which contains all the secrets and crimes of Catherine. So far, when the principal opened the necklace, it turned out to be drugs. Instantly Catherine's reputation is an example of a student like being destroyed without a trace. At the end of the film, we have seen Annette who is relieved and happy because she has been with Sebastian. And the film of evil intentions has ended. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. Please give me a thumbs up and click the subscribe button. See you in another video. Goodbye.